Whose body do I want to have? That's what it comes down to. Forget now that I've been Mr. Olympia and all this, but let's say I'm not a judge. He was so well proportioned that I thought he should have placed higher than he did. And unless we do something about where they stop just using guys with the thickest neck, I would love to have this guy's body. Wow! Is that you got to go and consider and look at everything. But that's not what you can say about those guys the day they win those competitions. Like, for instance, so many of those guys have their stomachs sticking out.
Arnold's comments on modern bodybuilding. Arnold Schwarzenegger, a global icon, has left an indelible mark on the world of bodybuilding. As a box office sensation, an esteemed bodybuilding athlete, and a former governor of California, his accomplishments span across various industries, making him a true immigrant success story. With such a distinguished background, when Arnold speaks, the bodybuilding world listens intently. The man affectionately known as the Austrian Oak recently shared his thoughts on modern bodybuilding, igniting a fervent discussion within the community. Arnold expressed his concern that today's bodybuilders have developed physiques that are excessively muscular and lacking in aesthetic appeal. Being a product of a different era, his opinion carries significant weight, causing many to ponder the evolution of the sport. Arnold Schwarzenegger's impact on bodybuilding extends far beyond his incredible physique or his record-breaking 7 Mr. Olympia titles. He single-handedly dominated an entire decade, leaving an indomitable legacy that has shaped the sport for years to come. However, his greatness in bodybuilding lies not only in his personal achievements, but also in his efforts to bring the sport into the mainstream. Arnold's charismatic persona, coupled with his immense talent, propelled bodybuilding from the niche realm into the global spotlight. He showcased the dedication, discipline, and artistry required to sculpt a remarkable physique, captivating audiences worldwide. Through his groundbreaking success, Arnold shattered the stereotype of bodybuilders as mere muscle-bound individuals, transforming them into icons of strength, grace, and beauty. Therefore, when Arnold, who has done more for the world of bodybuilding than any other athlete, voices concerns about its future, the industry takes notice. His views hold weight, not only due to his unparalleled achievements, but also because he has played an instrumental role in making the sport what it is today. Arnold's criticism of modern bodybuilding is rooted in the perception that the pursuit of excessive muscle mass has overshadowed the importance of overall aesthetics. He believes that the focus should be on developing a harmonious balance between muscularity, symmetry, and proportion. In his era, bodybuilders strived for a more balanced physique, where each muscle group complemented the others, resulting in a visually appealing form. While Arnold's comments have sparked intriguing discussions among contemporary bodybuilders, it is crucial to recognize that the sport has naturally evolved over time. Advancements in training techniques, nutrition, and performance-enhancing substances have undoubtedly influenced the physical characteristics of modern bodybuilders. The pursuit of extreme size and conditioning has become a defining feature of the sport in recent years. However, Arnold's viewpoint invites introspection into the direction bodybuilding is heading. It encourages athletes to consider the importance of presenting a well-rounded, aesthetically pleasing physique, rather than merely striving for maximum size. By emphasizing balance, symmetry, and proportion, bodybuilders can create a visually striking image that appeals not only to judges, but also to a wider audience. Schwarzenegger's comments on modern bodybuilding should not be dismissed as the ramblings of a bygone era. Instead, they serve as a reminder of the legacy he has left behind and the impact he continues to have on the sport. His words challenge bodybuilders to reflect on the essence of bodybuilding as an art form, a pursuit that combines physical prowess with aesthetic sensibility. The dialogue sparked by Arnold's comments will shape the future of bodybuilding. It will inspire athletes to push the boundaries of what is possible, while also honoring the ideals of balance and aesthetics. As the sport continues to evolve, it will be interesting to witness how bodybuilders respond to the call for a return to the harmonious beauty that defined the era of the Austrian Oak. Schwarzenegger was highly admired for his balanced proportions and aesthetic shape. With the increasing popularity of mass monsters in the open class, Schwarzenegger issued a stern warning and stressed that the sport is destroying athletes because they are taking it too far. The open class is at the forefront of the sport, and fans rush from all corners of the world to see the biggest and freakiest athletes compete on stage. Schwarzenegger, however, believes athletes have become too consumed with adding mass and less focused on their general health. The sport has seen a startling number of demises as of late, which Schwarzenegger considers was less of an issue during his time in what was known as the golden era of bodybuilding.
That's not what you can say about those guys the day they win those competitions. Like, for instance, so many of those guys have their stomachs sticking out. I don't know, it's like kind of like a bottle-shaped body or something like that. You know, what are we talking about here? I mean, it used to be that you should have a V-shaped body, stomach sticking out and all of this kind of, it doesn't look right anymore. With a vacuum and pulled in stomach, shoulders out, and to look athletic. Because if you reward the right guys, then everyone will start training to have a beautiful body again. And also on the internet and every other means there is, call out on him and call out on those judges. That does not mean that we cannot disagree with him, because he is in charge of judging, calling out and getting involved and saying this is unacceptable.
Modern versus old school bodybuilding. During the golden era of bodybuilding, spanning from the 1950s to the 1970s, the sport witnessed the creation of some of the most remarkable physiques ever seen, which continue to be admired to this day. These bodybuilders boasted massive muscles, slender waists, and impeccable symmetry. It is widely agreed upon in the bodybuilding community that the physiques from this era possess a timeless quality. Despite the progression of knowledge regarding nutrition, supplements, and workout techniques, many individuals today do not aspire to emulate the appearance of modern-day bodybuilders. In comparison to their predecessors, contemporary bodybuilders appear significantly larger but often carry an air of bloated and unhealthy aesthetics. One of the primary reasons for this disparity is attributed to the usage of different steroids and varying dosages over time. During the golden era, bodybuilders favored steroids like Dianabol, Decadurabolin, and Primobolan. These compounds yielded substantial muscle gains while minimizing excessive androgenic effects. Consequently, bodybuilders maintained a relatively natural appearance with smooth muscles and preserved hair. In the present day, a different set of steroids, including Trenbolone, Anadrol, and HGH, has become more commonplace, often used in combination with older steroids. The increased prevalence of androgenic steroids like Trenbolone has led to accelerated hair loss on the scalp among modern bodybuilders, explaining their frequent baldness. Additionally, the traps and deltoids of contemporary bodybuilders have a greater number of androgen receptors, making them more susceptible to muscle hypertrophy induced by androgenic steroids. Consequently, these muscles tend to enlarge significantly, contributing to a more freakish appearance. The inclusion of HGH and insulin in bodybuilding cycles during the 1980s had a notable impact on aesthetics. While these compounds assisted in the development of the first mass monsters, such as Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman, they also brought drawbacks. The extra mass gained through the use of HGH and insulin led to the enlargement of intestines and increased visceral fat, resulting in distended stomachs. In contrast, bodybuilders from the golden era, like Frank Zane, were known for their small midsections, often accentuated by performing stomach vacuums during posing routines. Furthermore, modern bodybuilders often consume doses of steroids that are 7 times higher than those used by their classic counterparts. Naturally, higher doses of any steroid increase the risk of health complications. This helps explain why legends like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who competed during the golden era, are still alive and in relatively good health at the age of 72. Unfortunately, it is not uncommon for modern IFBB bodybuilders to experience premature passing away due to the potential adverse effects associated with the significantly higher dosages they consume. In summary, the differences in appearance between bodybuilders of the golden era and their modern counterparts can be attributed to the use of different steroids, varying dosages, and the inclusion of compounds like HGH and insulin. These factors have influenced the muscle size, hair retention, midsection aesthetics, and overall health of bodybuilders throughout the years. Calum von Mogers. In the realm of bodybuilding, a rising star named Calum von Moger emerged, drawing comparisons to the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. With remarkable genetics and an innate capacity for growth, Calum possessed not only an impressive physique, but also an unwavering determination to push the limits and achieve greatness. From a young age, Calum honed his skills alongside his brother, focusing on mastering the fundamental techniques while lifting heavy weights. His early years were heavily influenced by the likes of Steve Reeves, whose on-screen portrayal of Hercules captivated his imagination, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, whose iconic documentary Pumping Iron served as a profound source of inspiration. As the years went by, Calem's dedication and hard work began to bear fruit. His aesthetic and classic bodybuilding style propelled him to become a force to be reckoned with in the industry, earning him the title of three-time Mr. Universe. Alongside his numerous accolades, he also ventured into acting, modeling, gracing magazine covers, securing endorsement contracts, and amassing a devoted following on social media. His journey began in 2010 when he triumphed in his first competition on Australian soil. The taste of victory only fueled his ambition further, and soon after, he claimed the top spot in the Junior Mr. Universe competition, solidifying his status as a formidable contender. Calem von Moger, with his striking height, handsome features, and formidable physique, had undoubtedly become one of the industry's brightest superstars. Just as Arnold Schwarzenegger has left an indelible mark, Calem, now dubbed Arnold 2.0, was carving his own path, leaving an undeniable impression on the world of bodybuilding. Kevin Levrone. Kevin Mark Levrone, an American IFBB legend, etched his name into the annals of bodybuilding history through his remarkable career in the IFBB and Mr. Olympia championships. In the month of May in 1992, Levrone burst onto the professional scene and secured a commendable third-place finish at the prestigious Chicago Invitational, a competition ultimately won by Porter Cottrell. Just a week later, at the highly anticipated Night of Champions, Levrone emerged victorious, leaving Cottrell in second place. As the year progressed, he showcased his unparalleled physique and took second place to the legendary Dorian Yates at the 1992 Mr. Olympia. Throughout his illustrious journey, Levrone traveled to 25 cities in the U.S. and an additional 38 cities across 12 countries worldwide. While Levrone's numerous victories speak volumes about his prowess, it is a particular contest where he fell short that remains etched in the minds of many. In 2002, after a rejuvenating period, Levrone made an unexpected comeback that left spectators in awe. He went head-to-head with the reigning champion, Ronnie Coleman, who was vying for his fifth Mr. Olympia title out of his eventual 8. On that memorable night in Las Vegas, Coleman emerged as the victor, but the crowd in attendance witnessed Levrone pushing him to his limits. In fact, many among them believed that the outcome should have favored Levrone instead. However, not every bodybuilder welcomed the comments made by Arnold Schwarzenegger, which added to the intrigue surrounding the event. Rich Piana. In an exclusive interview with Muscle and Strength, Rich Piana, a former professional bodybuilder and prominent figure on social media, shared his apprehensions regarding the current direction of modern bodybuilding. Piana expressed his belief that the sport had strayed too far towards extreme size and mass, neglecting the importance of aesthetics and symmetry. He advocated for a return to the classic physique of the 1970s, which emphasized a well-balanced and proportionate form. Piana didn't hold back his criticisms of what he perceived as the excessive use of performance-enhancing drugs in today's bodybuilding. He felt that athletes had become overly reliant on these substances, fueling an unhealthy competition for ever-increasing size and mass. Piana stressed the need for more openness and education surrounding the use of these substances, emphasizing the importance of responsible decision-making to prioritize long-term health and well-being. Despite his concerns, Piana's love for the sport of bodybuilding remained steadfast, and he acknowledged the significant contributions of pioneers like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He firmly believed that bodybuilding had the potential to inspire and motivate individuals to pursue their own fitness goals, but stressed that it must be done in a responsible and well-rounded manner. Piana's call for a return to a more aesthetic and proportionate approach to bodybuilding echoed a larger trend within the sport. Many athletes and fans had grown disenchanted with the extreme size and mass prevalent in modern bodybuilding, and were advocating for a resurgence of the balanced physiques seen in earlier eras. The introduction of the Classic Physique division by the International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness in 2016 was seen as a direct response to this sentiment, emphasizing a more harmonious and proportionate physique reminiscent of the classic bodybuilders from the 1960s and 1970s. The criticisms raised by Piana regarding the use of performance-enhancing drugs reflected an ongoing conversation within the bodybuilding community. While the controversial nature of these substances had always been a topic of discussion, concerns had intensified in recent years regarding the associated health risks and potential consequences. Many athletes, including Piana, were pushing for greater transparency and education regarding the use of such substances, aiming to ensure that individuals made informed choices about their usage. Hani Rambaud's. With an astounding record of 19 Olympia victories under his belt, Hani Rambaud has attained an esteemed position as a legendary figure within the fitness industry. During his developmental years, Rambaud dedicated himself to delving into the intricacies of the muscle-building process, immersing himself in scientific literature to uncover the potential of arginine in enhancing growth hormone levels, while his peers indulged in comic books. This insatiable thirst for knowledge propelled him towards becoming one of the most esteemed and respected trainers on a global scale. Ben Pakulski. In a recent interview with Fitness Volt, Ben Pakulski, a retired professional bodybuilder, shared his perspective on Arnold Schwarzenegger's remarks about modern bodybuilding. Pakulski began by expressing his deep admiration for Schwarzenegger, acknowledging him as an iconic figure in the industry. However, he also acknowledged that the sport of bodybuilding had undergone significant changes since his era, leading to different challenges and expectations for today's athletes. According to Pakulski, modern bodybuilding has become a sport of extremes, with athletes constantly pushing the limits of size, conditioning, and symmetry. While he recognized the potential drawbacks of these extreme pursuits, such as health risks and diminishing returns in terms of aesthetics, he viewed them as an inevitable consequence of the sport's evolution. Pakulski observed that modern bodybuilding is highly competitive, with athletes striving for any possible advantage, including the utilization of performance-enhancing drugs. While he acknowledged the potential risks and ethical concerns associated with these substances, he also acknowledged their prevalence within the sport. Pakulski's reaction to Schwarzenegger's comments demonstrated a nuanced understanding of the intricate realities of modern bodybuilding. He acknowledged the potential downsides of pursuing extreme size and mass, as well as the use of performance-enhancing drugs, while recognizing that these factors have become an inherent part of the sport. He emphasized the individual choices athletes must make in pursuing their goals. During the interview, Pakulski also emphasized the significance of maintaining a healthy and balanced lifestyle as a bodybuilder, emphasizing the importance of proper nutrition, training, and recovery. He stressed the need for athletes to listen to their bodies and make necessary adjustments to avoid injuries and burnout. Overall, Pakulski's perspective on modern bodybuilding reflected a deep comprehension of the sport's complexities and the challenges faced by athletes today. While acknowledging the potential drawbacks of extreme pursuits and performance-enhancing drugs, he underscored the importance of pursuing goals in a sustainable and healthy manner, both physically and mentally. Phil Heath. In the realm of bodybuilding, a clash of perspectives unfolded between two titans of the sport. Phil Heath, a 7-time Mr. Olympia victor, found himself in the midst of a mixed reaction to the comments made by none other than the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger. While Heath has always expressed deep admiration for Arnold's invaluable contributions to the sport, there were certain areas where the views diverged. Heath, in his earnest regard for Arnold, suggested that if the Austrian oak found fault with the physiques displayed by modern-day athletes, then perhaps he should refrain from extending invitations to them for the esteemed Arnold Classic. Phil Heath firmly believed that bodybuilding was a realm of fierce competition, wherein athletes perpetually sought ways to enhance their physiques and secure victory. Although he acknowledged the potential drawbacks of excessive size and mass, Heath argued that such transformations were a natural progression within the sport. Athletes, he opined, should be granted the freedom to pursue their individual goals and cultivate unique styles. Addressing the elephant in the room, the issue of performance-enhancing drugs, Heath adopted an honest stance. He openly admitted to his own usage of such substances. However, he also underscored the paramount significance of proper training, nutrition, and recovery in achieving success within the realm of bodybuilding. Phil Heath strongly advocated for enhanced transparency and education concerning the risks and potential consequences associated with the use of performance-enhancing drugs. In essence, Phil Heath's response to Schwarzenegger's remarks was one that embodied both respect and assertion. While acknowledging Arnold's immeasurable legacy and profound influence on bodybuilding, Heath simultaneously defended the current state of the sport. He implored Arnold to accept the evolution that had taken place, wherein athletes now push themselves to unfathomable limits. Moreover, Heath placed great importance on personal choice, with athletes being able to forge their own paths towards their desired objectives. However, he also emphasized the necessity of athletes assuming responsibility for the risks and consequences stemming from their actions.
Phil feels that he is at the height of his career, and there's no one that can touch him when he's on. Almost impossible to hit that mark every single time. And so I want him to be too hard in shape. There's such champions. There's so many champions in the Olympia, like hell for this competition. And you pose like hell. Arnold's gotta go. Can you believe that? I mean, I love this when the handlers.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is a great athlete for the sport of bodybuilding. Awesome for what he's done. Not here to trash the guy's name. I mean, you have an invitational, such as the Arnold Classic, and you don't like certain physiques. I hope you don't invite him to your party next year. I was one of those athletes that got 9th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th place. I would be asking myself some questions and trying to fix it immediately. We're all in the pursuit of perfection. Some people nail it, some people don't. Okay, well, I'm going to take more time, and I'm going to do this contest because the last thing I'm going to have is Arnold Schwarzenegger talking crap about my physique. I think that's what Arnold's trying to do. He's trying to push us to go back there, but yet still be massive. But he wants a certain type of physique. I want that physique too.
Jay Cutler. During a recent interview, Jay Cutler, a retired professional bodybuilder and 4-time Mr. Olympia champion, expressed his disagreement with Schwarzenegger's viewpoints on modern bodybuilding. Cutler believed that Schwarzenegger's criticisms were antiquated and no longer relevant, asserting that the sport had progressed far beyond the era in which Schwarzenegger competed. Cutler argued that modern bodybuilding had experienced significant evolution, both in terms of the physiques athletes pursued and the technologies and techniques available to them. He contended that the use of performance-enhancing drugs was not exclusive to bodybuilding, highlighting that athletes in numerous other sports were also utilizing these substances. Cutler maintained that it was the individual athlete's prerogative to decide whether or not to employ these substances, emphasizing that the risks and potential consequences were widely recognized within the industry. In response to Schwarzenegger's comments, Cutler went as far as to say that the former Mr. Olympia was beating a dead horse. Cutler perceived Schwarzenegger as being stuck in the past, having failed to stay abreast of the changes and advancements in the sport. He further criticized him for his absence from recent Mr. Olympia events, insinuating that it indicated a disconnect from the current state of the sport. Cutler's perspective provided a detailed elaboration of his disagreement with Schwarzenegger's stance on modern bodybuilding. He asserted the sport's progression and adaptations, defended the use of performance-enhancing drugs as a personal choice, and expressed his belief that Schwarzenegger's criticisms were rooted in outdated perspectives. Ronnie Coleman, the renowned 8-time Mr. Olympia champion and former professional bodybuilder, has openly expressed his deep respect for Schwarzenegger and the immense influence the former Mr. Olympia title holder had on the evolution of bodybuilding. Coleman attributes a significant part of his inspiration to Schwarzenegger, recognizing the pivotal role he played in advancing the sport. While Coleman holds Schwarzenegger in high regard, he firmly believes that bodybuilding is a personal journey, urging athletes to pursue their own aspirations and develop their unique styles. He stresses that each individual in the sport possesses their own distinctive approach, emphasizing that a one-size-fits-all approach to success in bodybuilding does not exist. Regarding the sensitive matter of performance-enhancing drugs in bodybuilding, Coleman has honestly acknowledged his personal use of such substances. However, he also emphasizes that proper training, nutrition, and recovery are integral factors in achieving success in the sport. Coleman acknowledges that the use of performance-enhancing drugs is an individual choice, but advocates for enhanced transparency and education concerning the potential risks and consequences associated with these substances.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Want to give it up to Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Me, I had a little technology behind me, and I learned a lot from guys like him and guys that came before us. I did sweat a lot, bled a lot too, doing them squats. And y'all, here I am, getting the greatest reward of my life.
That's all for today's video. We'll see you next time.